Yellowstone's a big-budget production, and the actors are big-time actors. While some of them had admirable star power long before the show premiered in 2018, looking at Kevin Costner over here, others have become household names now that the show is wrapping up with its final season in November 2024. That's right, Season 5's second half is done and ready for release. While fans await the bittersweet moment they'll get to see the Duttons battle it out for the ranch one last time, let's talk about the names that have made Yellowstone into the success we know it as today. And of course, how much they've been getting paid for starring in the epic Western. Kelly Reilly's been in more projects than you think. First things first, how many Yellowstone fans knew that Kelly was actually British? Yep. You'd end up doing a double take if you ever hear her speak with a quintessential English accent in her interviews. Despite her killer impression of ranch royalty, Kelly's actually from jolly old England. This just means that American audiences only just got to see Kelly on their screens. British audiences have been admiring her work for decades now. The actress kicked off her career in the late 90s with a starring role on the series The Biz. Other notable appearances include her work in Above Suspicion and the American medical drama Black Box. You might have also seen her on the American anthology crime drama True Detective. Then, of course, we have her stellar role as the no-nonsense Beth Dutton on Yellowstone. As far as her work on the big screen is concerned, let's just say that Kelly's been nominated for a Laurence Olivier Award. She starred in the production After Julie at the Don Mar Warehouse in the early 2000s. That was also when she formally began her work in film, kickstarting with the English comedy film Maybe Baby. This was followed by her iconic roles in Pride and Prejudice and Eden Lake. For Pride and Prejudice, by the way, the English actress made a reported $600,000. Of course, Kelly's also been a mainstay in the Sherlock Holmes film franchise with a recurring role as Mary Morstan. All this to suggest that Kelly has an impressive resume to back her up, which is something to consider when you hear that she's worth an estimated $5 million. That sounds just about right for a star of her stature, though. She's also someone who hasn't taken a break from acting since her debut in the late 90s. Still, despite a career spanning several decades, one might argue that her biggest break came as Beth Dutton on Yellowstone. Couple this with the fact that Kelly is the star of the show, well, at least according to a sizable portion of Yellowstone fans who tune in every season just to watch more of her. Even if the debate on who's the real lead is still up in the air, Kelly is definitely a top contender. That being said, how much do you think she earns per episode from the show that she's helped make a major success? With the final season of the epic Western upon us, coming in hot on November 10th, by the way, Beth's role on the show is believed to have expanded. She'd always been a part of the main storyline, but it seems like the finale will have her and Jamie fighting for ultimate control over the Yellowstone Ranch. This definitely warrants a pay bump. Also worth mentioning here is that production has a lot of spare change now that Kevin Costner doesn't have to be paid. Well, not necessarily at least. He'd still get paid some money. Anyway, this isn't about him. We'll get to Kevin Costner in a minute. Right now, this is about Kelly and how much money she's making from Yellowstone. It was reported that Reilly was paid $200,000 per episode of the series in 2020, which made her one of the highest paid members of the cast. Estimates in 2024 have her possibly making around $700,000 per episode in Season 5, a figure closer to Cole Hauser's reported salary on the show. As Reilly has appeared in over 40 episodes of the series, she may have earned well over $10 million. That's a lot of money to be walking away from now that Yellowstone's coming to an end. Then again, Kelly has nothing to worry about since she's all set to star in another one of Sheridan's spin-off series already. That's right. Back when Costner announced his departure from the series, there were a few rumors that suggested he'd be replaced by Matthew McConaughey. Those rumors were disproved, partially, however. The Hollywood legend will be a part of the Yellowstone franchise after all, but not on the parent show. Instead, he is working on a spin-off series with a handful of the ensemble cast from the parent series. Yes, that includes Kelly. Now, reportedly, Kelly's team was demanding a higher paycheck for the spin-off, given that she was already an established character in the Yellowstone fandom, and the fact that it was time to negotiate a new contract anyway. Kelly was this close to being dropped from the spin-off when headlines suggested Paramount couldn't come to terms with the $1.5 million she was asking for. Nothing to worry about in the end, and Paramount settled on a modest figure of $1.2 million. Yep, she's all geared up to work on the spin-off series. Cole Howser's bank account doesn't scream ranch hand. Unlike Rip Wheeler, Cole isn't strapped for cash. If anything, he comes from Hollywood nobility and has a career spanning over 30 years himself. Cole's a familiar face on screen. Yes, partly because of his role as Rip Wheeler, but he's always been the guy you knew from one famous franchise or another. It's just with Yellowstone that you finally got to put a name to the face. Let's take a look at his decades-long career first. Howser has been in films including the stoner comedy classic Dazed and Confused, Good Will Hunting, the sleeper hit Pitch Black, the second movie in the Fast and Furious franchise, Too Fast, Too Furious, and The Breakup. That's just off the top of our heads, by the way. Hollywood nobility was mentioned a minute ago, so let's dive deeper into Cole's family. Starting with his father, Cass Warner, who's the founder of the film production company, Warner Sisters. His mother is actress and Independent Spirit Award nominee, Wings Howser. Is he a Nepo baby? Based on the literal definition of the phrase, sure he is. However, his strong Hollywood lineage doesn't mean he hasn't earned every bit of recognition he has right now. No one can say that the actor who plays Rip Wheeler on the epic western has let fans down. Not once. Besides his parents' role in the entertainment industry, Cole is also the grandson of Milton Sperling on his mother's side. That's the Milton Sperling who starred in over 50 films, received nominations for 2 Academy Awards, and has a career spanning several decades. His maternal grandmother, on the other hand, was Betty Warner Scheinbaum, an artist and activist. His lineage can be traced back to Harry Warner, one of the founders of Warner Brothers and its first president. His paternal grandfather, however, did win an Academy Award. He was Dwight Howser, and he's been Cole's inspiration to break into Hollywood too. It probably came as a no-brainer that Cole Howser would follow in his family's footsteps into a career in show business, and he did just that when he left school at the age of 16 to pursue acting. Howser's first role came in 1992's School Ties, which also featured early performances from then-unknown actors Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon, Chris O'Donnell, and Ben Affleck. He followed this role up shortly with an appearance in 1993's cult classic Dazed and Confused, once again alongside Ben Affleck. In 1995, he appeared as the leader of a group of campus neo-Nazi skinheads in John Singleton's Higher Learning. In 1997, his friendship with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck from his early career paid off once again as he appeared in their breakthrough movie, Good Will Hunting. In 2000, he appeared in the movie that would start Vin Diesel's rise to stardom, the cult classic horror Pitch Black. That same year, he was nominated for an Independent Spirit Award for his performance in Tigerland, which made him an actor to watch. He has continued to work steadily in the 2 decades since, appearing in such movies as 2002's Heart War alongside Bruce Willis and Colin Farrell, 2003's Tears of the Sun also alongside Bruce Willis, 2003's The Fast and the Furious sequel, Too Fast, Too Furious, 2004's Paparazzi, 2005's The Cave, 2013's Die Hard sequel, A Good Day to Die Hard, and 2014's Transcendence. So suffice it to say, Cole's worked on some big-budget productions with some big-time actors. However, no one could really put a name to the face until 2018 when he debuted as Rip Wheeler on Yellowstone. A couple of episodes in and everyone was Googling, who's the actor who plays Rip Wheeler? Fair enough, we'd already seen him everywhere before that, but who was he? Cole's net worth probably won't come as a surprise to anyone now that you know where he comes from and how long he's been acting for. As of 2024, the actor's worth an estimated $8 million. He earns a reported $700,000 per episode on Yellowstone in 2024. That means for the 14 episodes of Season 5, the actor may earn around $9.8 million. The show is set to conclude with the second half of Season 5, which premieres in November 2024. But Howser and his co-star Kelly Reilly are reportedly in talks to lead a 6th season of the Taylor Sheridan series, according to Deadline. So we'll likely be seeing more of Rip Wheeler in the future. But did you know that almost didn't happen? That's right. After establishing himself in the Yellowstone universe as Rip Wheeler, Cole was asked to sign a new contract for Yellowstone spin-offs. Now, he was an integral part of the franchise and had obviously gained a tremendous amount of star power because of it. When it came time to sit down and work out the kinks of the new contract, Paramount was shocked at the amount of money he was asking for. Not just him, by the way, but the Dutton kids were all asking for major pay bumps. We've talked about Kelly's $1 million already, but Cole was asking for somewhat of a similar figure. Now, Paramount claimed they didn't have that kind of money lying around, even with Kevin Costner's departure. For a while there, Yellowstone fans were holding their breath as it seemed like the Dutton kids would not be a part of the Yellowstone franchise any longer. Howser is said to have asked for $1.25 million per episode, significantly more than Paramount's initial offer, per Taste of Country. In May, it was reported that the 3 original cast members had resolved the pay disputes, but it's unclear if salary deals have been struck for the potential Season 6 of Yellowstone. Here's to hoping for the best. But while we're on the topic of interesting facts, did you know that Cole has to dye his hair black for his role as Rip Wheeler on Yellowstone? In an appearance on the Jenny McCarthy Show, the actor explained, "When I first got the role, as you know, Kelly is a ginger and I'm a ginger as well. So we looked like we were brother and sister. So we kind of had to make sure that wouldn't be the case. So now you know that Cole has money, and he has a lot of it. The next plausible question would be, what does he do with all of it? Well, in late 2023, Cole launched a coffee company called Free Reign. Notably, he donates a portion of profits to the Special Operations Warrior Foundation, for which he is a longtime supporter and board member. Luke Grimes has Clint Eastwood on speed dial. From the 50 Shades franchise to a stint on True Blood and working with Clint Eastwood, Luke Grimes has been dominating our screens for a long time now. Before he starred in Yellowstone as Casey Dutton, Luke had been working on several big-budget productions with several big-time actors. Sure, that's a feat within itself, and something to write home about. Yet it was arguably his role as Casey on the Paramount show that really put him on the map, and has him catching big checks. Luke Grimes started out his career by appearing in high school-centric roles in indie films like All the Boys Love Mandy Lane and Assassination of a High School President. By the end of the decade, he landed his first major role as Ryan Lafferty on Brothers and Sisters, becoming a series regular in the show's 4th season. He followed this role in 2010 with an FX movie pilot starring Haley Bennett and Mary Steenburgen, Outlaw Country. Though the show ultimately did not get picked up to series, it did air as a television movie in 2012. Also in 2012, Grimes appeared in the highly anticipated sequel to Taken, Taken 2. He next appeared in 6 episodes of HBO vampire series True Blood, but left under controversial circumstances, and that's putting it lightly. Luke left the show arguably all about sex, claiming that he didn't like the over-empowering sexual nature of his character, James. This seemed like a convenient excuse at the time, especially since Luke would have known from the get-go that the whole plot of True Blood revolved around vampires and their deviant nature. Yes, Luke is a devout Christian and would have had reservations about the role, but it's not like the directors hid the concept of the show from him. In any case, his former co-star, Nelson Ellis, eventually spilled the tea and revealed that the real reason was only half of what Luke had claimed. Yes, he was unhappy with the direction scriptwriters were taking for James, but it wasn't because the show in itself was overly sexual in nature. Ellis alleged that Luke's character would have to play a gay vampire in the upcoming seasons, and when the actor was told about the character shift, he quit right then and there. Luke's character would have been seen getting into a same-sex relationship with Ellis's character. To cut a long story short, Ellis, and it seems like most of his former castmates, weren't too thrilled with Luke's decision to quit. True Blood went on to becoming quite the hit, by the way, which meant that quitting the show in its prime would have been a major financial blow for Luke. But then in 2014, the actor scored a major opportunity to appear in the Clint Eastwood-directed American Sniper. The next year, he made his first appearance in the 50 Shades franchise, appearing as Christian Grey's brother Elliot, a role he would reprise in the 2 sequels as well. The same year, he appeared in Freeheld, alongside a cast of A-list actors like Julianne Moore, Steve Carell, Elliot Page, and Michael Shannon. And now for the big reveal. How much money does Luke Grimes make? Considering how we talked about Kelly and Cole a while ago and referenced Kevin Costner throughout this video, it might come as a surprise that Luke doesn't earn nearly as much as them. The actor's net worth was reported to be $500,000 or somewhere in that range as of 2024. While this isn't a small amount by any means, it's on the lower side when it comes to established actors. He has made this net worth mainly through his acting roles on TV and in films. As the success of Yellowstone grows, we can expect his net worth to grow too. Luke earns $200,000 per episode of Yellowstone. As the series has 10 episodes per season, that means he makes a cool $2 million per season for his role as Casey Dutton. This is the same amount that his co-stars Kelly Reilly, Wes Bentley, Kelsey Asby, and Cole Howser reportedly make per episode. This adds up to $2 million a season for a 10-episode season. But that might change soon. What with pain pills and pews marking Luke's return in the country music scene? That's right, and it's probably not coming as a surprise to any Yellowstone fans, but Luke's also dabbled in country music. He was previously the drummer in an LA-based country band called Mitchell's Folly, made his return to country music with his own solo career. Signed to Universal Nashville, Grimes released his debut solo album, Pain Pills or Pews, in October 2023. With an 8-song album and live shows already booked, he's carving out his place in the country music scene as a bona fide singer. But Grimes isn't the only Yellowstone cast with country music roots. Ryan Bingham, who plays Walker on the series, is a well-known country singer-songwriter with several albums to his name, including the critically acclaimed Mescalito from 2007. Originally, Yellowstone co-creator Taylor Sheridan approached Bingham to contribute music to the show, but later cast him in a full acting role. In addition, country singer Lainey Wilson joined the series in its 5th season, portraying a musician named Abby, a fitting role for a singer with her background. Jamie Dutton is loaded. Wes Bentley was meant for Hollywood, and that's what everyone kept reminding him of when he packed up and left his small town to live in New York City. There, he studied acting at Juilliard and turned his passion into a career that earned him millions. Quite literally, as of 2023, Wes's net worth is estimated at around $3 million. And we'll definitely see a bump with Jamie's leading role in the Yellowstone Season 6, the finale. His acting career began with a breakout role that many still remember him for, playing Ricky Fitz in American Beauty. His performance as the sensitive teen who famously videotapes a plastic bag swirling in the wind put him on the map. After American Beauty, he continued to pick roles that let him explore dark, complex characters, a choice that defined much of his early career. Over the years, Wes showed his versatility across different genres. In The Hunger Games, he played Seneca Crane, the ruthless game maker with uniquely styled beard. His role added an intriguing edge to the dystopian series and introduced him to a new generation of fans. Later, he found his way to television, starring in FX's American Horror Story series, where he once again demonstrated his talent for bringing intense, layered characters to life. His role as Jamie Dutton in Yellowstone brought him back to the spotlight, but this time on the small screen. The character's struggles allowed him to show the full range of his acting ability, from fierce loyalty to heartbreaking vulnerability, and it's a role that has earned him both critical praise and a devoted fan base. Speaking of Jamie, by the way, Wes claimed that while he'll definitely miss his time working on Yellowstone, he's ready to say goodbye to Jamie once and for all. Now, Yellowstone fans would agree that while every character on the show is complex, Jamie's been put through the ringer a couple hundred times. Wes claimed that he spends half the year playing Jamie for Yellowstone, and the other half just preparing for the role. It's the sort of role that has to be done perfectly. Audiences have a love and hate sort of relation where he infuriates them, but they also can't help but feel compassion for the forgotten done. In any case, if any actor could bring such a complex character to life, it would have to have been Wes, and he got the job done perfectly. While his career looked promising from the outside, Wes has been facing a difficult battle behind the scenes. The actor struggled with substance abuse, a personal challenge that nearly derailed his career. In interviews, he's been open about how addiction affected his life, nearly costing him everything he had worked for. However, he also credits his recovery journey with helping him find a new purpose and appreciation for life. Through hard work, therapy, and the support of his family, Wes managed to turn things around and get his life back on track, and we couldn't have been happier for the guy. Though acting remains his primary passion, Wes has started to explore other areas in entertainment, like producing. He's also become known for his philanthropic efforts, particularly in promoting mental health awareness and substance abuse recovery. What's the Chief's net worth? If there's one actor Taylor Sheridan just can't seem to get enough of, it'd be Gil Birmingham. The actor's been a mainstay in Sheridanverse with roles in Hell or High Water and Wind River before he bagged the role of Chief Thomas Rainwater on Yellowstone. All three created and written by Taylor Sheridan. His acting credits actually span a lot longer than that. The 71-year-old actor's been going strong in Hollywood since 1982. Perhaps best known for his role as Billy Black in the Twilight Saga, Gil has been part of some successful films and shows over the span of his on-screen career. After his time in the Twilight movies as the father of werewolf Jacob Black, Gil transitioned to playing westerns. Taylor Sheridan's westerns, if we're being specific. Since 2018, Gil's played Thomas Rainwater, chairman of the Confederated Tribes of Broken Rock and leader of the Broken Rock Indian Reservation. Unsurprisingly, as the chief of the tribe, Gil's role on the show is as an antagonist. He's constantly at odds with Kevin Costner's John Dutton for ownership of the Yellowstone Ranch, the largest ranch in the United States, which butts up against the border of Broken Rock Indian Reservation. Gil has also appeared in supporting roles on House of Cards, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Animal Kingdom, and NCIS Los Angeles, amongst many other projects. These are incredibly well-known TV shows, rounding out his credentials nicely as an actor. So, with 40 years in the business, we have to know, what is the actor's net worth? Somewhere around $3 million, per 2024 reports. There's a pretty good chance that his net worth is going to see an exponential rise when Season 6 of Yellowstone drops in November 2024. While Thomas Rainwater has been the only consistent antagonist of the series since its debut in 2018, his role in the finale is incomparable. Like this time, Thomas means business. He won't leave without the ranch in his name, and to get there, he needs Casey's help. As far as we can tell, it seems like while Beth and Jamie battle it out in Parliament, or a gunfight on each other's turf, Casey's in cahoots with the chief to get the ranch back to the Native Americans. Maybe or maybe not. But Thomas Rainwater is surely banking on it, given Casey's links to the tribe himself via his wife and child. When and where can you watch the final season of Yellowstone? The final episodes are slated to unfold on the Paramount Network starting November 10th, 2024 at 8 p.m. Internationally, Yellowstone will premiere on Paramount Plus in Canada on November 10th, the UK on November 11th, and in Latin America, Brazil, and France later in November. Are you excited for the finale? We sure are! Let us know your favorite scene from Yellowstone throughout the seasons in the comments below.